This was one of the toughest races I've ever been in. Now if you do end up enjoying the video, feel free to like and subscribe, it would be much appreciated. Anyway, let's get on with the video. So I'm in kart 40, now I'm just getting myself situated into the kart, making sure the seat and the pedals and everything's in the right spot, getting myself comfortable, and as I turn around I see this guy BH Karting. Now if you didn't know who he is, he's a fellow karting YouTuber. Now I do have more subscribers than him, and so if you do see this video and you don't know who he is, go and check him out. He makes some pretty good videos. Not as good as mine of course, which is why I'm the #1 karting YouTuber, but still pretty decent. Anyway, let's get into the video. I'm feeling pretty confident about this race, so let's stick an overtake counter on the screen. It'll make me look slightly stupid at points when I get overtaken, probably. But you know what? It's going to be fine. The light goes green, I get an amazing start. These two in front of me are fighting. I get alongside the guy in the black suit, but then I have to brake heavily for the guy in the white suit. This lets someone on my left go through, and then BH Karting actually gets alongside me going down this straight here. Now, he is on the inside, so I'm going to have to sort of leave him the room. But as we go around this corner, someone spins and BH Karting gets collected. Now, I'm thinking that it's probably going to be yellow, so I do a little bit of tyre weaving. And this guy called Boyle, he comes past me, and now I've got to try and get past, but then as we're going up the ramp, the light goes yellow, and we have to slow down. Pretty eventful start, I must say. And yeah, sadly BH Karting got collected in that crash, and which means we can't actually fight him for a little bit. I'm just going to have to try and catch him back up at some point. As we come off of the start-finish straight, we can see BH Karting just getting taken out of the wall. It's good to see that he's okay to continue racing. Now, the light goes green, and the people in front are actually doing a lot of fighting. As long as I stick to my racing line here, I should start to close the gap relatively quickly. However, I do realise that my boost isn't really working correctly. You can see as I go up the ramp that I actually lose a lot of space to the people in front, and in that boost point there, I also lose a lot of space. And so I'm thinking I might have to retire the kart, but I'm just going to give it a couple more laps to see if anything changes and see if I can deal with it, but I don't think I can. Now, we're about 2 or 3 laps later now, and I've actually stuck to the back of these guys quite well considering my boost isn't really working. Now, I decided to stick my hand up and go into the pit lane because I just can't really deal with it anymore. You can't really get anywhere with these karts with a broken boost. It's just such a factor on this Liverpool track with all the straights that you might as well just change your car. Now I'm coming out of the pits with a nice new fresh car, doing a little bit of tyre warming. I've got plenty of space in front, plenty of space behind, and so I can sort of bring myself into this car a little bit better. Now coming around this hairpin here, I think I realised that the boost isn't working. However, as you can see from these lap times, I was definitely mistaken. This boost was definitely working, and I was just being a little bit silly. Sorry if that gave you a little bit of a shock. Anyway, this guy in the yellow suit lets me by. I'm going to count it as an overtake anyway though. And then a couple laps later, I start to catch this pack here. Now, they've been fighting quite a lot, so that's sort of the reason why I caught up with them. And I go up the inside here. Now, they sort of go quite deep into the corner. I think they were scared I was going to hit them. Might have been a little bit ambitious on my side, but you know what? I got the move done, and there was no contact in the end of it. I might just be a little bit more careful next time though. You can see how much I've actually closed the gap over the last sort of half a lap. I look for a move going down the start-finish straight, but I've not really got the space, so I just save going into this hairpin. They take the outside line. I'm late on the brakes and take a nice inside line. Nice little dive bomb. Nothing too fancy, nothing too special, but it got the move done, so all good. Now, I've started to close the gap to the guy in the red suit here, and I'm getting quite close to him. Now, I'm looking for a move here. I was probably a little bit far out. He closes off. I have to slam on the brakes. That was my fault. Probably a little bit too ambitious and a little bit too far out. But I stick right behind him, and I'm looking for a move now in the next couple corners. I'm thinking that I might go for a dive bomb again. He goes a little bit wide there, which sort of slows him down, and I go for a little bit of an ambitious dive bomb. But you know what, I've got the move done, no contact, so it's all good. So we're about 2 or 3 laps later now, and you see that pack in front of us? At the back, that is actually BH Karting going for the inside move. Even after that little crash at the start, we've managed to catch back up with him. That's really good by us, and my main goal now is to just try and get past him. Over the last half lap or so, I've really started to catch up with these two. BH goes for the inside move, and so I now have to try and get past Boyle if I want a chance at fighting him at the end. Now, I get a lot of oversteer going around this hairpin. I have to correct it. I lose a little bit of time between them, but I use my boost to try and keep up. BH has already created about a half a second gap. I know that I'm going to have to try and get past this guy if I want any chance of trying to keep up with BH. I try and get the inside move done here, but I have to leave the room because I don't get all the way past. He looks up the inside, but I still have a little bit of boost left, so I use that last little bit to try and get past him, and I make the move stick. Going down into the hairpin, we can see ahead of us, BH actually tries to make a move on that guy, but he bumps him into the wall, and I manage to get past as he's going a little bit slower. BH actually has quite a lot of room between us, and so I've got to try and get past the guy in front, and then also get that room back. Now, going down towards this hairpin, I do recover a little bit of space because they go a little bit slower than me. I'm now sort of quite close to them, but then as we're going up this straight, the yellow light comes on. We've got to slow down again. Now, I'm still behind BH Karting when the light goes green, but he gets a lovely inside line going down to this start-finish straight. The 52 has to leave him the room because he's on the inside line, and this is going to make it a little bit more difficult for us, but the 52 goes for a dive bomb from quite far out. He doesn't make it stick, and I'm thinking about going for the inside line, going down this straight, but the 52 uses more boost than me. I hold back and save my boost for going down the ramp, and as we go down the ramp, I make a nice little move using the rest of my boost. It's a relatively easy overtake, but still quite nice. So I'm behind BH now, and I need to close this gap he started to build up. Going into this next section of the track, I know I'm a little bit faster than him, so I can start to close this gap. Going into this hairpin, I'm much faster than him in this hairpin. I'm not sure what it is, but you can see that I start to close that gap quite rapidly. He does use a little bit more boost than me to keep his position, but I know I can use the rest of my boost, which he's already used up, going down this ramp. You can see I close it just slightly. Now, going around this little chicane, he gets a little bit of an understeer, which lets me get right next to him. And going into this next section again, you can see I'm starting to close up again. This is probably where I'm best on track. I'm looking at the inside line, I've not really got the move. He claimed that I bumped him there, but I don't really think I did. But I'll leave that decision up to you guys. Now, we go side by side going around here. It's actually quite good racing. And I managed to keep the inside line all the way around, which I'm very proud of. And I know that I can take an inside line going into that chicane, and I managed to keep the lead. And I'm quite happy about that. That was some really good racing with BH. Jumping straight into session 2, right into the mix. We're right behind these guys after the start, and I'm looking to see if I can make a move at some point. They're both fighting, and I'm looking at maybe taking inside line, but I realise I might hit the guy in the white suit if I do that. So I sort of hold back for a little bit and let them fight. I go for a dive bomb. That was way too ambitious. I'm not sure what I was thinking of doing, but I tried to back out as much as I could. I took the inside line and I got the overtake done. Quite messy, to be honest, so I might have to hold back a little bit more next time. Now, this guy in the black suit, he goes down the inside, he gets the overtake done. And I've just got to try and stick behind him. Next time I'm going to try and defend a little bit more, because that was really bad defending by me, or lack of more. Now we're going into this hairpin section, and the guy in front in the white suit has actually started to pull away a little bit. But we get right up behind him again, because me and this guy are both faster. I'm looking down the inside, but I've not really got the space. I brake slightly to make sure I can give them both room. Very close racing that was. You might have seen this in the intro. Now, going into this little chicane, I have the inside line on the guy in the black suit, and I managed to get by. And now my main goal is getting this person in the white suit. As you saw earlier, me and the guy in the black suit were both faster than this one. And so I've caught right up to him, and I go for an easy dive bomb going into the hairpin. Was a little bit close, a little bit ambitious, but you know what, you've got to be a little bit ambitious in racing, and I got the move done. About 9 minutes later now, and I've caught up to this guy. Now, he's a very fast racer, and he's been very difficult to catch up to, so I might have to use my boost to try and get a move done. Going into this hairpin, he's about the same speed as me, but I use a little bit more boost going up the ramp to make sure I try and catch up with him. I'm looking at an inside move, but it's a little bit too risky, so I hold back. Now, I've got a little bit of boost left over, and so I use it going down this ramp to try and make a move down the inside, and I get it done. Nice little move, very tidy, very neat. About 3 laps later, I've caught up with these two. Now, these are the two from the last session I had a little fight with, and so they're both relatively fast drivers. Now, the 34 goes for a dive bomb, I go for a slightly more outside line, and I cut in a little bit sooner. Now I've got the inside line going down this straight, and I sort of just hold it through the whole thing, and I get the move done. I mean, I sort of just held the inside line, and they couldn't really do anything. It was a bit risky, a little bit ambitious, but you know what? Move's done, perfectly fine. Now I do the same sort of thing going down the start-finish straight. I just hold the inside line, they have to give me room, and I get by relatively easily. Now I've started to catch up with this pack here, and BH is actually in this pack. I get by this guy on the right hand side, and BH is ahead of me. He gets a pretty bad corner, and I give him a couple of bumps, which actually helps him get by this guy in the white suit. Now I'm thinking about an inside line, and I've not really got the space. I sort of attempt one there, but I couldn't really get by, and I sort of let the guy through. Now I get a little bit of oversteer on that corner, and it allows me to sort of get alongside this guy going down this straight. He gives me the room, and I manage to get by on the inside line, and I'm still trying to catch BH, who's also getting through the traffic quite well. I'm right behind BH now, and I'm thinking about a move around here. Let's see if I get the room. I'm giving him a couple of taps, just little bumps, see if I can get by. He's using a little bit of human DRS, it looks like. I'm looking at an inside line, I'm looking at any sort of overtake possible. I make a little bit of a mistake, and he gets a little bit of room on me, but I managed to close it up relatively quickly. I also use a little bit of human DRS to see if that will help me at all. It doesn't really. Now BH is still a little bit ahead of me, but I'm closing it up under these boost points. Now I managed to take an inside line there. I leave him the room on the inside. He has a look at it, but I'm too far ahead, and he has to give me the room to get by. Now I'm behind this person in the white and pink suit again, same as last session. And I'm thinking about a move there, but I haven't really got the space. Now he starts to close me off, and I think he's pulling to the side to try and, like, I don't know, race with his buddy or something. But he nearly crashes me into the wall. Luckily I managed to get past before he does that, and he actually cuts up the inside of me there, and I was not expecting that because I thought he was pulling over to the side. Now I'm right behind him again, thinking about an overtake here, and I've committed to it. It was a little bit ambitious again. I'm make some very ambitious overtakes on this track. He then goes to the outside line there, which I was not expecting, cuts back to the inside line. Very lovely movement by him, but I managed to keep the overtake steady. And I think that was some pretty good racing, to be honest. Over the last couple laps, I've really started to catch up with these two because of how much they've been fighting. I'm looking to see if I can make a move on the inside, but I've not really got the space. For some reason I hold it for a bit too long, and I have to try and avoid hitting the wall and hitting them at the same time. That could have been a big accident. Now I take a little bit of a knock on that wall, and you can see just how much that slowed me down and how much of a gap they built up on me. I should recover it pretty quickly though, with how much they're fighting. Both holding each other up quite a lot, to be honest. Going down this ramp, I use the rest of my boost, and I really start to close them up. Now I get a little bit of oversteer on there, or understeer, I'm not really sure which one it was. But now they're looking at inside moves, and it's very, very close racing, I have to say. It was quite enjoyable to watch from this distance. Now there was a little bit of a mistake, and I managed to just sneak up the inside. That was a very close move, and do I get the move done here? Ooh, that was very, very good. A very nice 2 corners, 2 positions in 2 corners. That was some great racing.